What's up everyone, Emerald here from Emerald's Daily Carry, and today we're going to be comparing the Chimera sling bag and the Venture sling bag in a head-to-head battle. If you're new here, welcome. On this channel, we like to talk about backpacks, sling bags, and everything in between because we believe that everything in life is between you and the perfect bag. Our goal is to give you all the details so that this is the last review that you're going to have to watch before you decide between these two bags and if they're right for you. In this video, we'll be comparing these two head-to-head in materials, features, packouts, and all the little details and nuances that make them different from each other. Plus, stick around to the end where we're going to be grading this Chimera sling bag against our analytical rubric, which we weren't able to do the first time. If you want full, in-depth reviews of each of these sling bags, we got you fam. Go check out our YouTube channel. But for today, we're going to be keeping it real simple on the basics and really focus on all the differences between these two bags. But before we continue, you know the drill. Make sure you like, you subscribe, you smash that notification bell so that you don't miss any more Emerald's Daily Carry goodness. And without further ado, you better buckle up, Buttercup, because this one's going to be a long one. For some really quick context before we continue, the Chimera is a limited edition version of the Venture sling, which is why we're doing a head-to-head comparison because a lot of the feature sets and the silhouette are going to be very similar. The Chimera was released in April of 2024 and retailed for $239. In contrast, the 6-liter Venture sling bag came out in 2022 and currently retails for $129, which I don't know if you're doing math at home, but that's a $110 difference, or if you want to feel really sad about it, an 85% markup between these two bags. Ouchie. Now, part of the additional cost has to do with the premium materials that are used on this bag, but a lot of it does have to do with R&D, branding, and the exclusivity factor of a limited release bag. Because let's face it, if you're a sucker for limited edition gear, you're gonna pay 85% more for the bag, and that's why they keep doing it. If you're looking to snag a Chimera, unfortunately, this is only available now on the secondhand market. Your best bet's gonna be checking eBay or Facebook groups, and the prices can range anywhere between $150 all the way to above retail price, just depending on demand and the supply. So if you are on the hunt, be prepared for price fluctuations and scarcity. And moving our attention on to this bag, the Venture sling, it has come to my attention that this is in fact not the current version of the sling bag that has been released, and it's also not the correct color that I ordered. This is the black version. I know I've been saying that it's the night sky version because that is what I ordered and what got shipped to me in the package. But as previously stated, Bellroy does use different materials for their different colors, so other users have said that based on the materials used, this is probably the black version of the bag. Take all that information for what it's worth. Everything that I said about this bag still stands. First off, let's see how these two bags compare spec-wise. We're gonna do the listed specs that are found on the website and then our actual measurements that we found in our studio. For the Venture sling, the listed weight is 345 grams, and the listed external dimensions are 222 millimeters by 300 millimeters by 100 millimeters, and the listed capacity is 6 liters. When we measured this bag in our studio, the actual weight ended up being 413 grams, and when we measured this bag, the actual dimensions were 203 millimeters by 279 by 76. And the actual volume of the Venture sling based on our bean test was 3.1 liters. If you don't know what our bean test is, you can check out this video here about our non-scientific way that we try to measure volume. And for the Chimera, our listed weight is 530 grams, and the listed dimensions for the Chimera are 200 by 260 by 90 millimeters. And of course, the listed capacity of this bag is 6 liters. Now, based on our studio findings, the actual weight ended up being around 520 grams, and the actual exterior dimensions of the bag that we measured was 203 by 292 by 101. So just because of this discrepancy, we do think that it's measuring the internal volume of the bag, which is more comparable to the actual external dimensions of this sling, which does kind of measure up as far as this sling being a lot bigger than this one. During our bean test, we measured the actual volume to be 4.2 liters. So based on these measurements, the Chimera is roughly 25% heavier, 4% taller, 21% wider, and holds about 26% more beans than the Venture sling. And I know I just said like a ton of numbers, so the TLDR is that the Chimera is chunkier, it's beefier, and it's actually physically bigger than the Venture sling. And for comparisons, this is what both of the slings look like on me. For reference, I'm 5'7" and 135 pounds. You can see that the Chimera looks way larger on me than the Venture because of its structure and depth. And this is what both bags look like on a larger man. He is 6 foot, 200 pounds. Both slings don't look as massive on him because he has a larger frame, so do take that into consideration. All right, moving on to materials, and this is where both of these bags are going to differ in a lot of ways. Overall, the materials on the Chimera feel a little bit more robust and rugged than the Venture. Every touch point on the Chimera, from the zipper pulls to the handles, just feel more substantial in a good way. The zipper pulls are thicker and more durable. The grab handle on the Chimera is an actual handle in comparison to the Venture, and the strap systems are completely different. More on that later. The body material on the Chimera is a little bit stiffer, giving it more structure. On the inside of the quick release pocket, we have an upgraded key leash. On the Chimera, it's actually on the opposite side of the Venture Sling bag. On the Chimera, you have a seatbelt webbing with a G-hook, whereas on the Venture, you have a normal nylon webbing with a plastic clip. Going on to the interiors of both of these bags, on the Chimera, you're gonna have a laser cut nylon on the back for these pen loops, whereas on the Bellroy Venture Sling, you're gonna have a canvas ripstop liner. When you consider that the Chimera is only 25% heavier than the Venture, with all of these additional premium materials, I think it's a pretty fair trade-off for the extra longevity that you're gonna get with the Chimera. Talking more on specifics, one of the biggest differences is gonna be in the body material. The Chimera uses a Bidia nylon, while the Venture uses a Bidia ripstop nylon. Both materials offer solid protection, but the Bidia nylon is stiffer. It has a more crinkly texture, and it gives off more of a rugged outdoor aesthetic. Meanwhile, the Bidia ripstop on the Venture is softer to the touch, a little bit more flexible, and visually a little bit more casual than the Chimera. However, one thing to keep in mind is that the Bidia nylon is going to be a lot less breathable than the ripstop that's on the Venture. This can also be influenced by how you carry the bag. For the Chimera, you do have to wear it pretty high and tight for it to be comfortable, but I've noticed that after about 20 minutes of continuous activity, this did start to radiate a little bit of warmth. So it is worth considering if you do plan on using this for more active outings, or if you live somewhere like I do, like Arizona, where you can't even use this bag for half the year. Another major standout difference is going to be the strap system. Material-wise, the Venture is a very basic woven nylon strap with metal hardware adjusters. The Chimera, on the other hand, goes all out with a closed self-EVA foam strap, a fidlock buckle, and seatbelt nylon with G-hook attachment points. It's a much more complex system on the Chimera, and this is where it's either gonna falter or shine, depending on who you ask. So overall, when it comes to materials, the Chimera really does take it up a notch and delivers a more rugged, durable, and premium feeling bag than the Venture. Depending on your use case, that might mean a lot to you, but it also could mean that it's very overkill for your simple task that you're gonna do. All right, let's talk about the feature differences between the Chimera and the Venture. The Chimera is gonna be a lot more feature rich and a little bit more complicated than the Venture, but they're gonna share very similar design language throughout. Starting out with the quick access pocket, you'll notice that the Chimera has a much wider and longer quick access pocket than the Venture. This just makes it easier to toss in bulkier items into this pocket. Also worth mentioning is that these zippers actually lay differently on the Chimera and the Venture. On the Chimera, the zipper lays horizontally with the bag, versus on the Venture, the zipper actually runs parallel to the front of the bag. So this is actually a little bit tougher for me to open than the Chimera is. Moving on into the interior of the bag, we do have larger slip pockets here on the sides versus the Venture Sling. And you also get a larger sunglasses pocket in the Chimera. So on the Venture Sling, this is the sunglass pocket, and the Chimera, the sunglass pocket goes all the way across, and because it is a longer and wider bag, you just have a bigger pocket. On the back side of the main compartment, on the Venture Sling, we have one zipper that runs along the back and two slip pockets made for short and flat items. Whereas on the Chimera, you have one zippered pocket with the stretch mesh material. And it's really hard to see in here, and alongside it, you have two laser cut pockets on the back, one for a knife and one for a pen. Moving on to the back of the bag, on the Chimera, we have a lay flat zipper, really great for a phone, wallet, passport. You could probably even fit all three of those things if they're really flat. On the back of the Venture, we have nothing. There's a little bit of padding there, but no lay flat zipper. The grab handles on the Chimera are gonna feel a lot more substantial than the Venture. I wouldn't even consider these to be real grab handles on the Venture Sling. These handles on the Chimera are also reinforced, so you can do external carry if you'd like a water bottle or a hat or something like that. Now the Chimera does win in a lot of ways because it is a lot more feature rich, but the one thing that it doesn't do that the Venture does very well is the compression feature of the Bellroy Sling bags. All of my cats decided that today was not the day that they wanted me to film, so they're all here in the room now with me because they wouldn't stop crying. If there is a cat that just pops out and then pops back in, or there's a little rustle here and there, it's a cat. So anyway, back to what I was saying. It is one of the things that are really well known about Bellroy bags is the compression feature, and this one does it really well. It's mostly because it has two attachment points to the bag, so it actually cinches itself when it's compressed along your body. whereas the Chimera doesn't really do that. It does still have 2 attachment points, but I don't know if it's just because of the stiff material of the Chimera or just the way that the material is attached, but it just doesn't compress at all. It just has this shape, even if it's empty, which it is now. And that brings us to the harness system, which is really where these 2 bags are gonna differ the most. The Chimera Sling has a really robust harness system, again, with EVA foam padding and a fidlock buckle. This is a really tactical harness system. There's a lot going on to it. It's got magnets, it's got nylon webbing, it's got foam padding, it's got G-hook attachments, maybe a little overcomplicated for some of you, whereas the Venture Sling has a very nice, very minimal, very sleek, infinite loop design, so you're not gonna have any dangle on this one, whereas this one you're gonna have plenty of dangle. You're gonna have to use this thumb attachment to really cinch the bag to yourself, and then you have this little rinky-dink plastic clip to hold everything together. And I have found that there's a lot of dangle for me because I'm a smaller person and my slack is super long. But I will say though that fidlock buckles are very cool and they're very cool to use. I did find that adjusting the strap on the Venture was a little bit easier than on the Chimera, but both of them weren't really my cup of tea. If you are gonna use these quick release buckles on the Venture, I just really felt like it was too low of a placement for me. I always was like attaching the strap like twisted like this because, you know, the strap is the same on both sides. It was just really hard to like see in the back of my head, and like I would have to do kind of one of these things in order to get it, and I just felt weird doing that. So I would just put it on like a strap, more like a messenger than anything. So overall, the Chimera has a lot more going for it feature-wise, but that also means that it's a lot more complicated to use. If you are looking for those premium upgrades and you don't mind a little bit of extra effort to get it, then the Chimera might be a bag for you. But if you prefer something a little bit simpler and straightforward, the Venture might be the right bag for you. It really just depends what your loadouts are gonna be and what you're gonna use these bags for. Now we're in the pack out portion of our video. Our main goal here is to see what the actual volume difference is between the Chimera and the Venture. If you want to see more packing situations, check out the full reviews for both of these bags. But for this one, we're going to put the same amount of stuff in each of them and then compare the difference. All right, so this is the Venture fully loaded out with everything that I could fit in it. As you can see, it did bulk out quite a bit. I do think that this probably is a little bit too much for the silhouette to still look really nice. It now kind of looks like a lumpy potato, but I'm gonna unpack this now and see what's gonna fit in the Chimera. Okay, and this is what the Chimera looks like fully packed out. It was able to fit everything that I threw at it. There was a little bit more space in there, but really I think we found a really good middle ground as far as capacity and organization and access to things. I did have to finagle a little bit as far as like rearranging some stuff, but I think that the way that it is now, I still have really good access to everything that I put inside of this bag. All right, so now we're gonna score the Chimera based on our analytical rubric. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, check out this video over here where we explained all about it. Just to keep everything fair in this head-to-head competition, we're gonna be scoring the Chimera in the exact same weighted categories as the Venture Sling. So that means we're gonna do 40% on design, 35% on components, 10% for marketing, and 15% for unique value proposition. Let's dive in. Starting out in the design category, first for aesthetics, we scored the Chimera a 4.75. The bag really shines in the looks department. It's probably one of the main reasons why you're gonna be looking into this bag. It takes the Venture silhouette and it just amps it up with a more beefy, rugged, tactical look. So if that is your vibe, then this hits all the boxes for you. For function, we gave the bag a 4 because it actually does do a lot more for the travel, outdoor, sling, everyday carry thing that it's trying to do a little bit better than the Venture because of its additional features and premium materials. When it comes to build quality, the Chimera earns a perfect 5. If you've ever held the Chimera and the Venture Sling in both of your hands, you're gonna really feel the premium quality material difference, even though this is also considered very high quality. This just pushes it up a notch. Like, this feels like it's gonna last a really long time. And it should for the price that you're paying. For protection, we gave the Venture a 4. The materials offer more structure, which adds a little bit more protection. This is not going to be drop proof or crush proof or waterproof, but I think it's gonna give you more than enough for most cases. We did have to dock it a little bit because you do pack this bag out quite a bit, then water can get inside of the main compartment, which kind of defeats the purpose of a waterproof zipper. For comfort for the Chimera, this is a really tricky one because it really depends on how you carry the bag, what you carry inside of it, if you prefer the way that it's trying to have you carry it. So it's a little subjective. We did give it a 3.75 because even though it is divisive, it is a very nice strap if you do like it. You can also get your own strap. People have used dispatch straps, fake design straps. I do think that it's a little ridiculous. You have to buy your own strap for a bag that costs this much, since the strap is kind of like how you carry the bag, but to each their own. We gave it a 3.75. It's better than in the middle of the road, but you still might not like it. For access points, we gave the Chimera a 4.25. It does improve on the quick access pocket from the Venture sling bag. It's a lot deeper and it's a lot bigger, and you get a coveted lay flat zipper that the Venture doesn't have. My thoughts on the two-way zipper still don't change. I don't like the design. It does limit a lot of access to this side of the bag that you open it from, but you know, to each their own. A lot of people do like it, so 4.25. Moving on to components, starting out with zippers, the Chimera earned a 3.75. These zipper pulls are a lot better on the Chimera than on the Venture Sling. Still gonna dock points a little bit though, because these waterproof zippers don't do anything since there are gaping holes into the main compartment where water can get through anyway. For the harness system, we scored it a 4. Now that's just purely based on quality of material. It's not based on the comfort that you might have using this strap. I'm not gonna say you're gonna like it because you might not, but it is very nice. You get a magnet, so. For the back panel, we're gonna score it a 4.75 because we love to see a lay flat zipper, especially one that has a little bit of volume so that you can pack a little bit more than just a passport in this pocket. Because this bag is very geared for travel, a lay flat zipper is gonna be super premium for you when you are traveling in really tight spaces and you wanna make sure that your phone, your wallet, your passport are gonna be super safe. It's really disappointing to not have a lay flat zipper on the Venture Sling, since that's a pretty major feature for a travel sling that you can find on a lot cheaper bags, and the Venture Sling, I would say, is a very premium travel sling, so take that for what it is. For the main compartment, the Chimera earns a solid 4. The removal of the 2 slip pockets in favor of a zippered compartment allows for a little bit more versatile carry, since the slip pockets would limit you to pretty small and flat items. Also, the internal layering of the pockets is really nice so that everything kind of has its own place, and you can definitely see that tool belt design inspiration in the main compartment layout. For the quick access pocket for the Chimera, we scored it a 4.25. It really does improve the functionality of this pocket, making it deeper, wider, the opening is bigger, the zipper lays in the correct orientation so you're not fighting it every single time you're trying to open it. It still has a little hole in the corner, so you know, nothing's perfect, but it is a lot more of a usable pocket than the Venture. Moving into marketing, we scored company a 4. Bellroy and Carryology share founders, so they have a lot of similar viewpoints and similar design aesthetic. Bellroy, who we mentioned previously, is a certified B Corp, which means that they are very sustainably focused, which is a nice touch. For the product page, we scored the Chimera a 4.25. Between Carryology's articles, the email marketing, the teaser ad videos, there was a lot of info about the Chimera when it launched. However, consolidating all that information into one product page would have been really helpful. As of the recording of this video, the Chimera product page is no longer up on Bellroy's website, so just do take that into consideration. You're gonna have to peruse the internet for other reviews and things like that to get your information on the Chimera Sling. For returns and warranties, we scored the Chimera a 2. Now, this is nothing new about Bellroy bags, but it's really hard to swallow when you are talking about a Bellroy limited edition bag, because it's even more restrictive on the returns and the warranties that you can have with this. There are no takes backsies. You can't return it just because you don't like it. If you are gonna do a warranty claim, you better hope that Bellroy has some of this in stock still, because if they don't, they will not send you a new Chimera. They'll send you a comparable bag from Bellroy's website, which means you're just gonna get a regular Bellroy bag, which is not this bag. But the warranties and returns is something to be desired. On to unique value proposition. Starting off with volume, we scored the Chimera a 3. The Chimera is a little bit closer to the advertised 6 liters. It's still not 6 liters, but it's definitely a lot closer than the Venture 6 liter, which is not anywhere near 6. This is probably gonna hold around 5 liters on a good day, and that's really you packing the crap out of it. I will say that, you know, if you want to use a lot of the organization that is built into the bag and you wanna be able to see everything, then it's really gonna pack out more like 4, maybe 4.5 liters. For features, we scored it a 4.5. This is really gonna be a standout for buying this bag over the Venture. It's super overbuilt, it's super over-engineered, it's over everything. It's just like dialing everything up to an 11. And if that's your jam, then this is your bag. For uniqueness, we scored the Chimera of 4.75. Again, this is another reason why you would maybe even consider this bag. It is for its uniqueness, it's for the design, it's for all the flavor that it's bringing. Bang for buck, I will say that I don't think there is any way that you can try to justify the price of this bag. Having this sling come in at $229, which is more than some backpacks are, like full-on backpacks, it is just a tough pill to swallow. You cannot justify the price of this bag. I don't care that it's limited edition. I don't care that the materials are super awesome. $229 is an obscene price for a sling bag, which means that this bag's value really comes down to your perceived value in its uniqueness, in its limited editionness, in the Bellroy Carryology-ness of it. So if all of that means something to you, then great, but on base value, money-wise, this scores a 2. Finally, for flavor, we scored the Chimera of 4.25. This is really like flavored all the way. You've got, you know, flavored zipper pulls, flavored like Carryology patches and Carryology branding on the inside and orange interior linings that Carryology is very known for. You are gonna get a very Carryology experience with this bag. So if we add up our totals and normalize our score, the Chimera earns an 82.33, which is a solid B. And if you haven't seen the main Venture Sling video, we did score this a C-, so going from a C- to a B, pretty good. The reason why this scored so low for us was just because of the material choices didn't really match the use case, or at least the intended use case that it says and advertises. And I was really bummed about the strap material not being the same as what was advertised on the website, and we can't not knock it for not being actually 6 liters. This is a little bit closer to the actual volume, it's more feature packed, it has better materials than this one. I don't think you can still justify it for the cost, but that is why we definitely scored this as a higher tiered sling than the Venture. So who do I think these bags are for? Everything that I'm about to say really assumes that you're only choosing between these two bags. You're not considering any other sling bag. You've already decided that Bellroy, one way or the other, is right for you. So let's get started. Who is the Chimera for? So the first person that I think this bag is perfect for is if you are a tactical aesthetic person, like you're an outdoorsy person, you like gear, you carry a ton of gear, you want your bag to reflect your insides. You have a lot of stuff that you care about and you want to, you know, also carry it in a nice thing that also is very tactical. Like if you wore outdoor clothes, like let's say you wore a Patagonia jacket with this and some boots or something, like this would go really well with that outfit, wouldn't it? Because it's got that technical, tactical vibe to it already. Number 2, if you are an over-prepared EDC hauler, then I think that this bag is gonna be a good fit for you. You carry everything just in case. So I think this bag is really great for that, and it's got all of the slots for all of your just in case things. Like if your actual pack out is very similar to what we showed in the video as your pack out, then I think this bag's gonna be super great for that. If you have anything less than that, then you can go with a little bit of a simpler sling. This is gonna be a little bit overly complicated for folks that don't have a ton of stuff to carry. And the third person who I think this is for is someone who really likes limited edition runs of things, because you like that premium feeling limited thing that no one has, and you also really care about protection and quality. I think that this bag kind of checks all those boxes and you will be very happy with it. So it might seem, just based on what I've said, is that the Chimera is just overall the better bag than the Venture, and that's not true because it really depends on what you're gonna use the bag for. So when would I actually pick the Venture over the Chimera? Number 1, the Venture is just a little bit easier to use. There's not as much frills going on in this bag, which means that you don't have to think as hard as like, where did I put that thing? It's all just gonna be in that one place because there's only 2 places that it could possibly go. Number 2 is that it's a lot lighter and more compact than the Chimera. So if you are space conscious, if you are heaviness, material conscious, then the Venture is gonna be a better fit for you. Number 3, if you want a more versatile aesthetic, then I think that the Venture Sling does a better job than the Chimera. The Chimera is very tactical. It looks super beefy. It's very rugged looking. The Venture, a little bit more like fun, a little bit more maybe casual, or you can play it up or play it down. So aesthetically, I think that this can transition from casual to a little bit more prim and proper, whereas the Chimera, you're really on that rugged train forever. Number 4 is just gonna be price point. If you are a price conscious person, this is just cheaper than the Chimera straight up, so there you go. I would choose the Venture over the Chimera if I was using this more for everyday carry, like I'm going to the market, I'm going out to the store, you know, I'm just doing some errands, I'm carrying a lot less stuff like phone, wallet, keys, maybe a water bottle, maybe a jacket or something, but really keeping it minimal. Overall, the Chimera is for somebody who really loves the Bellroy silhouette that the Venture has, but they want a more premium, more rugged, more robust version of the Venture Sling. Do I think either of these bags are worth it? Honestly, not really. There are a lot of other slings out there that do more or less the same thing and have more or less the same features. The only thing that you're gonna get with a Bellroy sling is the Bellroy design. If you really, really like the way that these slings look, you're kind of stuck between these two options. These designs are really iconic, they're super clean, they're really minimal. This one's super fun, a little bit more preppy looking, and this one's a lot more tactical, so just, you know, pick your flavor of ice cream that you like, but that is what you're paying for. And if you made it this far into the video, let me know your thoughts on the Chimera or the Venture. Which one would you pick based on the two, now that you know all the information? If you want to help support the channel so that we can keep making quality content like this, there are Amazon affiliate links in the video description. We do get a small commission on all the products that you purchase through those links at no cost to you. It's a really easy way to support the channel. If that's not your vibe, there's always liking, subscribing, and sharing this video with a friend that maybe is torn between these two bags. And if this video wasn't enough for you, we have 2 full reviews of these bags and 2 overview videos where we dive deeper into all the nitty-gritty details of each of these. This is probably going to be the last time that we're going to be talking about these 2 sling bags on this channel, because honestly, I have nothing more to say. We've talked about these for literal hours at this point. We can finally put these slings to bed. Thank you so much for sticking around for the Chimera Venture saga. My name is Emerald from Emerald's Daily Carry. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.